It's one down and two more to go as the Senate passes the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill. I'm Linda PIGB and you're welcome to the Gavel. The Senate has passed the first part of the Petroleum Industry Bill called the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill. This bill is intended to establish a legal framework for the creation of a more efficient, transparent and competitive petroleum industry.
The bill we seek for a total reformation of the oil and gas sector was formulated based on the following objectives amongst others: to create efficient and effective governing institutions with clear and separate roles for the petroleum industry, to establish a framework for the creation of commercially oriented and profit-driven petroleum entities that ensures value addition and internationalization of the petroleum industry, promote transparency and accountability in the administration of the petroleum resources of Nigeria, and four, to foster a conducive business environment for petroleum industry operations.
The Chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Upstream, talking about the benefits of the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill to Nigeria. He made these remarks shortly before the Senate passed the much-talked-about Petroleum Industry Governance Bill.
A bill for an act to provide for the governance and institutional framework for the petroleum industry and for other related matters, 2017, third reading taken. The bill is now read and passed.
The bill is expected to create a conducive business environment for petroleum operations, enhance exploration of petroleum resources for the benefit of Nigerians, optimize domestic gas supplies, establish profit-driven oil entities, create efficient and effective regulatory agencies in the petroleum sector. The key components of the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill are restructuring the NNPC by splitting the assets and liabilities of the NNPC into two new commercial entities, namely the National Petroleum Company and the Nigeria Petroleum Asset Management Company. The National Petroleum Company shall be responsible for the management of all other assets held by the NNPC except the production sharing contract currently held by the NNPC. Establishment of the Nigerian Petroleum Regulatory Commission. This commission shall ensure compliance with all applicable laws and regulations governing the petroleum industry. The PIGB provides for the incorporation of the Nigerian Petroleum Liabilities Management Company to hold assets including shares in the Nigerian Petroleum Asset Management Company and National Petroleum Company on behalf of the federal government. The PIGB also establishes a Petroleum Equalization Fund, which is expected to ensure efficient distribution of petroleum products throughout the Federation. The Petroleum Equalization Fund is to determine the amount of reimbursement due to any oil marketing company for the purposes of equalization of price of products.
2017 SB 157 CI.
For the Senate President, the passage of the PIGB is a major achievement.
Evaded for many years, not being able to pass, and we made a commitment at the beginning of this Senate that we will pass this bill. This is a bill, I believe, not only Nigerians, even our friends and investors in the petroleum sector have been waiting for us to put a framework that will ensure transparency, accountability, and create an enabling environment for the petroleum sector that will be necessary to further stimulate growth in this sector.
We spoke to some lawmakers who told us what the country stands to gain from this legislation.
There are two key issues. Number one is governance, the other is fiscals. The fiscals are those things that affect, how much you pay for this if you do this and that is part of the problems the Nigerian nation is suffering. Then the first one we did today is about the governance, that will say, it's just like saying a state governor in place and or the president in place, and all the relevant laws, or the constitution that gives him power to do this or that. That is just exactly what we did for the oil industry. We have strengthened their arms now, areas that they were very weak or ineffective and everything. Now we have given them powers to say that you can now do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. This oil industry is about 40 years old, more than 40 years old. And the laws are, since the ones enacted initially, is part of our problems. So now by the governance bill now, we have created entities that are going to manage, critical aspects of the oil industry and who are relatively, independent. We have separated the minister, and give him his roles. We have separated so many things. So I think this is part of just what the governance did. And like I said, governance, is the key, and that is why we treated it first, because without government, nothing can be achieved.
The governance takes care of the structures on the Nigerian side, which is the NNPC, the dismantling of NNPC into different business units, as well as creating a one-stop regulatory platform through the instrumentality of the DPR, bringing PEF and PPRA to create a one-stop regulatory platform in the form of a commission that is independent, solely independent. And one of the key things is that the president cannot remove any of the commissioners by the time you look at it without the approval of the National Assembly. So it creates that independence on the part of the Commission to regulate the industry, to the good of all Nigerians. So we don't expect any further interference, either through the minister or through the presidency. So these are some of the things that investors delight in any reasonable bill, because it's about perception. One of the key things is that it's going to create the confidence. It's going to create the confidence. It's going to create the perception. It's going to send the right signal to the international community, to the international investor in the oil and gas industry. Listen, Nigeria is ready for business. That's major, because once you're able to get the laws right, it attracts investment.
There are two more parts of the PIB left to be passed, namely the Petroleum Industry Fiscal Bill and the Host Community Development Bill. However, none of these bills, including the PIGB, can become law without the House of Representatives also passing the bills. Keen observers of Parliament, however, warn that it is not yet time to celebrate, as the House of Representatives passed the PIB in the 7th Assembly, but the Senate did not.